We build, we produce, we develop. But what's the price of it? Often, we don't think about the impact we have on our environment and the way this will affect us later. The reduction of natural habitats and the disappearance of traditional shelters has led to the sharp decrease of the number of individuals of several insect species. Up till now, old buildings with adobe walls, shingle and rush roofs provided shelter for these insects. But just imagine, how can these insects burrow in concrete walls? Because of the new heating techniques, piles of firewood and similar shelters are increasingly rare. It's no wonder that in some of the more developed regions of Western Europe, pollinating insects have disappeared. Often farmers forget about the huge advantages offered by these tiny creatures and destroy them. The intensive use of pesticides has caused a drastic reduction in the number of insects. For many of us, this could sound like good news. But think about the fresh vegetables and fruits we consume every day thanks to these creatures, which at first glance may seem insignificant. Many species of insects have a crucial role in the ecosystem. By destroying harmful insects, predatory insects are actually an important instrument in the natural protection of plants and bring significant benefits to farmers. While predatory insects destroy insects which have damaging impact to agriculture, other insects play a significant role in plant reproduction through pollination. According to a recent estimation, the benefit of pollination at global levels accounts for approximately 265 billion euros. Without insects, we would have a much poorer harvest. In many countries, there is data on the reduced number of pollinating insects, to the extent that in some regions, humans have to pollinate plants by hand.
We can truly evaluate the benefits offered by insects in these cases.
Everybody knows the beneficial work done by the honeybee. There's no need to present it. But on the other hand, only few people are familiar with the fact that solitary wild bees and wasps bring us many benefits. Besides visiting wildflowers in the fields and flowers in our gardens, different species of bees like to be surrounded by petals of fruit trees. Although they are driven by their own interest in searching for food, they are simultaneously contributing to pollination. When pausing on a flower, its pollen sticks to their fluffy bodies, and then they sweep it towards their third pair of legs in the back. And when enough pollen has been gathered, bees make two balls out of it to store as food. With their black dots, ladybirds are not only little girls' favorites, but are also appreciated by conscious vegetable and fruit growers. Ladybirds perform an invaluable service against harmful insects. This lovely insect consumes aphids and mites. A few meters away, the braconid gets lucky. It has enough aphids to select from. These will serve as food for the braconid's larvae. In the meanwhile, it efficiently destroys caterpillars and other harmful insects. It lays eggs in the bodies of paralyzed caterpillars or other host animals. Later, their larvae consume their hosts. These beautiful lacewings are not at all beloved in the world of insects. Their larvae consume in a single day almost 50 aphids, and in just 1 hour they consume the same number of mites. Before pesticides were released, these mini predators were in charge of keeping down the number of harmful insects in vegetable gardens and orchards. In order to protect these beneficial species and to provide them shelter, E-Consult Association Satu Mare has installed these so-called insect hotels. These hotels are used at a global level by ecologists, and now, for the first time in Romania, E-Consult Association Satu Mare presents this economic and ecological method. In 40 localities from 4 countries, Satu Mare, Maramureş, Bihor, and Salaj, such artificial shelters were installed. The objective of this initiative is to prevent the destruction of ecosystems and to preserve the habitats of these species. The installation of an insect hotel is quite easy, and in most cases it costs nothing. It can be made out of an old closet, a structure similar to shelves made from boards. It could have any shape and any size. The important thing is to fill it up with natural materials which correspond to the needs of the future guests of the hotel. These insect hotels can provide shelters for the most pollinating species encountered in our region. They are built out of dry hollow stems, adobe bricks, beams with drilled ends or wood logs. Digger wasps, mason bees, leafcutter bees, and many other species find shelter here. These hotels also have rooms for predatory insects. By installing these insect hotels, E-Consult Association Satu Mare has contributed to the active protection of pollinating and predatory insects from 40 localities of the northern western part of the country. Besides offering an artificial shelter for the target species, these insect hotels serve as an example for the local communities, thus supporting sustainable agriculture. In order to make people aware of the importance of predatory and pollinating species, several awareness campaigns were organized. Eco-farming methods were promoted using mass media, and ecological education and environmental protection classes were held in schools. In all localities, insect hotels were installed, and volunteers have organized activities for future farmers or decision makers. Besides multimedia presentations, with the help of some little games, participants got to know the importance of insects and the ecological and economic benefits of insect hotels. Many of the participants, after having seen that these artificial shelters are very easy to build and cost nothing, had the initiative to install them in their own yards. This is exactly the purpose, to follow this good example and have more and more people installing these insect hotels on their own properties. In a few years, the payment of their inhabitants will be visible. These simple but very beneficial constructions serve as luxury hotels for insects, providing them with safety and convenience. The digger wasp searches for an empty room. It doesn't like to share accommodation with others. It prefers a solitary life. After having occupied its room in a spongy stem, it admires the view till being interrupted by an uninvited guest. The wasp doesn't feel like chatting. It drives away any potential roommate. The true bug tries its luck. It takes a look inside, but decides to search for another cavity and passes on. A few meters away, we witness a fight for food. The chalcid wasp searches for nectar, but the ant is not willing to share its food and chases the wasp away from the flower. Similar to a block of flats, there is a lot of commotion in the insect hotel, insects continuously flying all around the place. The best places have already been occupied and the nests have been arranged for successors. In a gallery, the female makes 6 to 7 compartments and then walls them up. In each of these rooms, the female lays 1 egg. She also brings plenty of food in the gallery for her larvae. After the exhausting work, it feels good to rest for a while. And then she gathers strength and it starts all over again. Often, even predators become victims. This ruby-tailed wasp scans the area. It doesn't look for an empty room. It's interested in already occupied nests. While the mother digger wasp flies from one flower to another, believing that her eggs are safe, the ruby-tailed wasp is working on breaking into those nests. It opens the compartments in order to paralyze the digger wasp's eggs, and then lays its own eggs there, which later on will consume the paralyzed caterpillars. Although this could seem like an unfairness of nature, this phenomenon balances the number of individuals. Nature's hushed to sleep. Work has been finished for the day. Wasps come to rest in the insect hotel, and bees search for flowers to go to sleep. The next day, everything starts all over again, till the last eggs are laid, ensuring the survival of the species.